Well, you know, the funny thing is falling off the stage in Sweden and breaking my leg on the last record tour was actually kind of at the beginning. It was at the beginning of the tour almost, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we'd only been doing shows for a couple months at that point.
So we had 70 more shows, 60 more shows after that. It didn't hurt when it happened. Then it was hard to tour for 6 months afterwards, sitting in this ridiculous throne thing. I was physically exhausted, I was mentally exhausted and emotionally drained, and I just thought, you know, let's just stop for a while. Let's take a year off, which is a long time for us. Some bands disappear for 5 or 6 years. I can't imagine doing that. You know, I don't really have friends outside of the members of the Foo Fighters, you know. It's such a big part of our lives that it's hard to step away from. And in those 6 months, I kind of like got reclusive and isolated and depressed and bummed out, and I eventually realized the one thing that makes me the most happy in life is making music and making it with my friends. Run for your life with me, wake up. A lot of the lyrics were written in a short period of time, just as Trump got the nomination to run for president of the United States of America. You know, seeing what that was doing to just the general overall psyche of America, that our country was just flipping out in disbelief that this is actually happening.
That's what we talk about every day when we were writing the record. Yeah. That's like every day was a new tweet. Like, did you see this? And we were always like going, well, this is too far.
Yeah, that's it. There's no way he's going to get it.
He's gone now.
There's no way.
There's no way he can get past this one. And now I don't. Our bass player said, like, did you see this? This is it. And I'm like, he's not going anywhere.
Well, the last time I interviewed you, you had just interviewed President Obama.
Yeah.
How would you fancy a half-hour sit-down with President Trump?
I don't think you interview President Trump. I think President Trump just tells you what he wants to tell you.
What happened backstage with you and Harry at the Invictus Games?
It was the night before the Invictus Games or something, and we were playing at
the ambassador's
house. I was tired. I was jet lagged, and we met him, and we started talking, and he started just kind of in a real talk, and I'm just like, wow, I'm so jet lagged right now. Like, we were getting ready to walk on stage, you know, and so I'm tired, I'm so jet lagged. He just goes, wow. And I just went, I think I was like,
he's in the military too.
Yeah.
Someone that you want to get.
Yeah. It was like, I was a little like, what was that? And it was great, and it was funny, and I wore the slap with pride.
When I had my surgery here in London, he was actually one of the first people to come visit me afterwards, and he brought me a gift. He brought me this little pillow to put my iPad on while I was in recovery.
How difficult is it combining rock stardom with School Run?
Well, I used to think that they were mutually exclusive, that you couldn't really do the two together. I used to think, okay, I'm going to do this until I'm like in my 30s, then I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to start normal life.
Why the hell would you want to do that?
Well, because I want a normal life, you know? Like, there's part of me that wants a normal life. And
that would entail a job.
And then eventually you realize that this, for me, is a normal life.
When you've got daughters heading towards teenage years, and you know what guys in their teenage years are like, how worried are you?
I always had this plan that if my daughter ever started dating a musician, that I'd invite him over and tell him, I will get you a record deal if you never hang out with my daughter ever again. That's like that's plan A.
Fantastic.
My two kids are in the latest video, two of my kids. There's Violet and there's Harper. And yeah, when she comes to me and says, Dad, I think I want to shave my head. And I say, okay, I thought you were growing your hair out. And she says, yeah, but all the other girls in my class have long hair and I'm different from them. I don't want to be like them. To me, that's someone that's like finding strength in their identity, and this is happening now. I mean, my mother was a public school teacher. She taught kids of my age or teenagers for 35 years. And she wrote a book last year where she interviewed mothers of different musicians. And one of the things that she found that all of these mothers have in common is each one of these artists, Dr. Dre, Pharrell, Michael Stipe from REM, they all found their calling in between the ages of 11 and 13. It's a very, very important, formative time for kids to discover identity. And so my daughter's singing in a band. She sounds like, she's got this amazing voice. And she's finding strength. She sent me a video treatment last night.
For what song?
For the song Concrete and Gold.
Oh, okay.
She sent me a 2-page video treatment. Here's what you should do for the video. There's this wall that explodes, and then it into this liquid puddle where these like interpretive dancers turn to gold and they float in the air and then crash to the ground. I'm like, that's my daughter. I'm very proud of that.
Fantastic. Well, Foo Fighters, thank you very much.
Yeah.